По команде. Я тебе дал мошенник. Дали отказ. Плюсом МТЛБ осталось там, разбитая приемка. Верхушки, как принял меня прием. Видео, как принял тебя, принял. Не могу до лампасу докричаться. Я буран, прием. Принял тебя, принял. Пытаешься, прием.
Буран, иди домой, лучше быть дезертиром, чем перегноем.
Hey everybody, HkSniper here. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for about a month now. It's been in my mind. Tonight's finally night I'm going to record it, so here we are. So I wanted to make a video about how the war in Ukraine can impact our hobby of reenacting, and I got a few points that I definitely wanted to throw out there, and definitely something that you should have in your mind just from this point forward with how things are going. So number one, if you do Soviet reenacting, even Russian reenacting post World War II, post Cold War even, it's going to be more difficult to get the uniforms and equipment. And even Soviet World War II, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the really good reproductions of stuff too, but a lot of the field equipment and original stuff and the tent halves, all that type of stuff came from Ukraine. At least the stuff that was cheap and abundant came from Ukraine, it came from Belarus, and it came from Russia. And unfortunately, as of February 24th, that ended immediately. And I say unfortunately, we understand why. I'm not trying to say like, oh man, you guys had to have your war and you can't get my pretend war stuff. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not trying to put that out there as if that's the whole point of this. It's understandable, but as far as life over here with a hobby, that easy acquisition is over. Now there are some sketchy things going on with stuff going over to Kazakhstan, and I heard hit and miss about stuff coming out of Belarus. I don't know if I trust it, me personally, and the Russians doing the middleman thing with the Kazakhstan. The more middle people involved and the more governments involved, it's just risky. It's risky getting anything out of Russia to begin with. I couldn't imagine how. And then getting into Kazakhstan with a middleman, it just, in my opinion, I think it just puts too much risk of someone either stealing it, the government of somewhere taking it and confiscating it, or just plain out just getting lost. And it's just one of those things. I personally, I don't think I would trust that right now. So obviously, obtaining equipment, uniforms, all that type of stuff has definitely had an impact. So what are the other things we can look at here? Well, namely, the public's interaction with you. If you do Soviet World War II even, this is the public, guys. They're not going to understand that the Ukrainians fought, well, I mean, they fought for both sides, but they're not going to understand that there was Ukrainians that fought under the Soviets, and even, let's say you do Soviet-Afghan war, they're still not going to understand it. And they're just gonna look and see you as Russian. That's it. So you may have a negative interaction with the public because of that. And it has already happened. There's some guys that do first and second Chechen War. Obviously we're talking about the 90s, we're talking post-Soviet Union, we're talking the early days of the Russian Federation. So the only thing that these people saw was the Russian Federation flag. They didn't take into account that they were from mid-90s, early to mid-90s, late 90s. They didn't take that into consideration, and they're not going to. So you have to have that in mind. If you're doing anything post-Soviet Union, just realize the only thing that these people, as in the public, has been made aware that anything with that Russian Federation flag is bad, and they may interact with you in a negative fashion. They may be confrontational. Just be a good ambassador for this hobby and explain to them that, hey, I'm from 1995, I'm from 1986, I'm from 1943, 1972. My perception of a war between the Russians and Ukrainians does not exist. Okay, 2022, by this point, you're thinking back then we're going to have flying cars and RoboCop and holograms, and we're going to be having space stations and going to other planets and all that crazy cool stuff that never came to fruition, but that is probably was your perception of the future of, of humanity in those time periods. So just explain it to them. Be a good ambassador. Be calm. Be collected. If they still don't get it, they still want to be a jerk, then get the staff and get them out of there. Simple as that. The other thing is perception of war in general. And I discussed this at length in my perception of war video. Check that out if you're interested in it. It's pretty much me talking forever like I always do. But it's got a very good point and definitely ties in with this. And that this is the first conventional war, large scale, that people have just unlimited access to seeing it, eyes on, hearing it, seeing it from the ground, and pretty much experiencing war in real time. It's something that has never happened in history up to this point. We are living in, honestly, a historical moment when it comes to that type of stuff. And they may be a little more apprehensive about warfare in general. So people may be a little iffy about seeing it, and just kind of be aware of that. And I think that if we continue just to go the path that we've been going and being good ambassadors to the hobby and being the living historians that we've been for before February 24th of this year, I think we'll be fine. So with those in mind, there's probably some more points I'll think of the second I end this, and I may make a part 2 to this, but this is it. So, without anything else for you, we'll go from there. I have had some people ask about Leonid. I made a video about him a little while ago, and I just put out there that he is okay. We've helped him out with some other things and got him some other gadgets and all that type of stuff for what's going on there. And I'll leave it at that. So, be safe, everyone. Have a good one.